We're going to lay the 2 flowers so that we can do the 2 at the same time. So you've got a double layer flower. And I'm just going to move this up so you can see it better. And you just lay across to start with, and then fill them in. Just like that. Okay, and do the second one. Making sure that you don't gather too much of the wool in the centre, otherwise it gives you quite a big and hard centre and it's not so easy to manipulate them. Okay. Once you've done that, if you want to introduce a second colour, you know, if you're pink, you might want to pop a bit of purple on or something, but in this case, because I know what I want it to go with, I'm just going to add some lovely viscose. You can use silks or, like I said, a different colour merino. So again, just spread them over. Try and keep your pattern going round, like so. Okay, so now you can see I've got both my flowers here laid out ready to wet down. Some people like to put netting over the top once they've wet down. I must be honest, I like to use bubble wrap again because I think it's agitating both sides at the same time. So I'm just going to fill up my little spray bottle with some warm soapy water, and I'm just going to pop it over the 2 flowers that I've laid out. Then you're going to get a top piece of bubble wrap the same size. You know, to be perfectly honest with you, if you wanted to, you could probably get the 2 on one or lay another one, so you could be rolling 3 at the same time. And then I'm just going to squeeze all the warm water out so that everywhere is nice and wet. And then just pushing it round like so. And then I'm going to just wet the top of this. If you're working with net, you would already have a bit of liquid on the top anyway. And I'm just going to rub like so. And then just keep checking for it to start felting. You'll keep doing this until it started to come together. So at the moment it's not quite ready. So I'll leave you and I'll go off and do mine, and then we'll rejoin once mine are ready for the next stage. Okay, so I've been rubbing now for a little while, not long, maybe 5 minutes, and I know by feeling, but I'm just going to check. Okay, I should be able to really just quite happily take these off, and there's a thin piece of felt there. At the moment, as you can see, they are a bit too fluted, the edges, but we will sort those out after the next stage. So what we're going to do now is we're going to roll them. So again, this isn't something that you're going to want to watch me do because you all know how to roll. What I do, it's entirely up to you. If you want to put a pool noodle in the middle or a rolling pin, feel free to. I tend to just use the bubble wrap, and I'm going to roll it this way, and I'm just going to gently roll 20, 30 times depending on how heavy you roll. Then you'll unwrap it, you will roll it this way and roll for 20, and then this way and roll for 20 or 30, whichever, and the same again here. So basically you'll roll each side 20 or 30 times depending on how heavy you roll. Like I said, nobody needs to watch me roll because you all know how to do it, so I shall get on and roll mine, and then once I'm ready we'll meet back again. Thank you. Okay, so we finished rolling as we said, and we'll peel back the bubble wrap, and you'll see here that you should have a nice robust piece of felt. And it's interesting because I'll show you the two. That's the one, and this is the other one, which I laid slightly differently just to show you that they can be different. So this is a bit more feathered at the edge. So what we're going to do now is get them to look how we want them. Now, some people might like to have random shapes with bits hanging out and things, and that's okay, each to your individual style. For me, I like mine to be a little bit neater and tidier, so all I'm going to do is just go around with a pair of scissors, cutting off the bits that I don't want. I don't want my flowers to be exactly the same shape or colour, shape or size, because they are going to fit inside each other. So once they're completely finished, I will decide which one's going to be the inner and which one's going to be the outer. Okay, there we are. Just tidy up a little bit. Okay, let's get these scraps because I keep those for later. So there we are, you can see that one's all neat and tidy now. I won't do the other one, we'll just focus on this one now. So what I would now do is get a damp towel. So I've wet this one down, it is pretty damp. And I would do both flowers at the same time. So you put it in there, you put your other one there, wet it down with, again, some warm water. And remove the bubble wrap and roll, and what you will do is you should find that you will get a nice edge on the flower, obviously remembering to turn, pull it out, because it will find, as you're aware, different shapes, and roll again. And I'm going to do this 4 times to try and keep it that same shape that I want. So that's 2. So I'm just doing a quarter turn every time I'm unrolling it. And I'm just going back and forth. It doesn't have to be for masses of time. Again, as I've said before, it does depend on how hard you roll. Some people are lighter than others, so you might find you need to do it a bit longer than I do mine. And then we can just sniff off the feathery bits. There we are. Now I'm going to just concentrate on the ones, so you haven't got to watch the 2 being done. So again, I'm going to get some soapy water. That was me just filling my... And then I'm just going to rub it in my hands. I'm going to take some of the water out, it's a little bit too wet. Then I'm going to open it out. And then I'm just going to rub like this. Undo it. And give it a little rub like here. keep undoing it and opening it out and then rubbing again. And then you want to start to focus on getting it fluted. So you really want to be down here at the bottom, rubbing this lot so that this is over felted, and therefore it will be tighter, which means that you'll get this lovely sort of shape. So just keep concentrating on this, and then once you've done that, just finish off the top. There we are. And then I'm just going to go around just massaging the edges like so, just to get rid of all the little feathery bits, and eventually, sorry, they will all work in. Back to the centre again, and I'm just rubbing that because I want that to be tighter. I want that to felt really tight in the middle, because as you can see already, you've got a sort of quite a nice flowery shape. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to rinse this in hot water. Then I'm going to shock it with some cold water and run it right through so all the soap comes out. And then once I've done that, I'm going to put it back in hot water. And I'm going to do that to the other one as well. So exactly what we've already done. I'm going to cut it, rub it, put it in the hot and cold water and hot again, and then I'm going to come back. So I shall be coming back with my 2 circles that have been shocked in the hot, cold, hot, and then they're ready to just shape and finish. So I'll go and do mine now, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so we're on the last bit now. I've returned with my 2 flowers still warm. What I'm going to do is just rub them again in the middle like so. Both of them. Don't worry if one is much bigger than the other, because you can put one on the bigger on the outside, the smaller in the middle. Then you need to take your flower and with your finger and thumb like this, just gently tease them. Because we laid the wool in this formation like a star pattern, it means you're able to pull the fibres apart. It's not a sturdy piece of felt as if we had laid horizontally and vertically. So very gently you just go around pulling. Okay, be careful, don't be really firm with it, just give a gentle tug, because it is a fine piece of felt. You don't want your fingers to go through it, but what you want to do is get all these beautiful ruffles. Okay, and you do the same with the other piece. There we are, just gently go around. I've left some of my edges, I'll show you now, in the smaller piece, because I'd already decided which would be my centerpiece, with just some little fibres sticking out. So the outer one I finished more or less properly, but this one I left some, I don't know whether you can see some of the edges just poking out, because I just thought it would look quite nice feathery. When we finished and when these are dry, they will fit together like this. What I usually say to people is to dry them either together or individually in a teacup or a mug. Just pop them in the top and let them dry like so. When you take them out of the cup, then you will have this shape. When they're dry, you can either needle felt them together in the centre or glue, entirely up to you. Once you've done that, you then decide what you want to do with the middle. Let me get that in shot for you. With my orange hat, I decided that it was a floppy hat. I gave it a floppy brim so that it could be played with, and I wanted it to have a floppy flower. So I never put anything in the centre of it, and I just left it scrunched for that person to do whatever they wanted to it. On the blue hat, this was firmer, so I had stiffened the brim because I wanted it to be the shape it was. I had a stiffer flower, which I deliberately stiffened, and then I just rolled some pieces of felt into like tendrils so that they kind of flopped over in coordinating colours that were in the hat. One other thing I just wanted to point out to you was, if you only come across with one flower, so maybe you've made 3, they look equally as lovely on their own. So on this beret, I don't know whether you can see, there, it's just got a single flower. I put a diamante in the middle because the person that wanted the hat likes diamantes, and I just used a single flower for that. For me, the best fitting that I put on these, I glue these on, and they're dual pins because you can put them in your hair with this one, with the crocodile, or pin them with this one, or if you've got a light fabric that you don't maybe want to pin, you can clip it on. So you would glue gun onto there, and then decide what you're going to put in the middle, and then it will end up like this.